G'day. Welcome to another unboxing from me, Glenn Morris, here at the Smart Energy Lab. I'm a bit excited because I'm going to unbox an 8 kilowatt hybrid inverter from Fox ESS. Now, if you haven't heard of Fox ESS, well, you should have, but they're really big in other countries, particularly in Europe. They're making a big push in Australia with a lot of local support. They've hired a huge support team here in Australia, scattered across many of the capital cities. So expect to see a lot more of Fox ESS in the solar battery world. Now, the 8 kilowatt hybrid inverter I've got here, I'm going to be installing in a couple of days here at the lab. And so we'll follow this up with the install video as well, no doubt linked up here. But first, we've got to get into the box. Okay, it's unboxing time. I like a nice, clearly labeled bracket top, right? So we're going to need this, but not for a while. I'll put it down here. Now this is a 3-phase inverter, and by the look of it, we've got a very large connector here for the AC supply. Now, of course, I haven't unboxed this before, so all this is brand new to me as it is to you. So what do we got here? So there's QR codes on everything, which is great. No doubt that'll take us to instructions about the product. So there is our 2 big glands, and it's got all the connectors inside. Let's pull this out. Pull this out. There we go. Okay. So grid and EPS. So this is our grid and EPS all in one with 2 cables entering the unit through this gland here. That's pretty nice. Interesting. And by the look of it, I'm going to need a tool. Here we go. So once it's installed, a tool to remove. So that's kind of its locking feature. It's a safety feature of the unit. Can't just be pulled out under load without using a tool. Okay, so there's our connector. Now this looks like comms. Yep. So this is a comms connector, no doubt for all the usual features, which I'll run through in a bit. Okay, here's the lolly bags. So we've got some wall mount screws here. We've got some PV connectors, so these are PV plugs. And we've got some rather heavy duty ones, which I assume it would be for the battery cable. And we've got some connectors for the comms. And a cute little Wi-Fi antenna. Now, more about this later. This Wi-Fi antenna is a bit of a special thing. Okay. I'm always excited when I see packaging which can be recycled really easily, like this. Engineered cardboard. I love it. You can actually turn this into a planter box. Look, turn it around this way. Put some nice compost in there and grow some vegetables. And of course, at the end, it'll just turn back to soil again. So yeah, hats off to Fox ESS for being very eco in the packaging. Now I might need to call my assistant in here for a lift. Okay, just pop it on there. Yep, that'll do. Thank you. Great. And one more item, a chint breaker. All right. So what's in here? Oh, actually a meter. Sorry, it's a meter. There we go. So what's all this about? Well, because this is a hybrid inverter, it can take solar PV, it can take battery storage, it can take the grid, it can provide an emergency power circuit, a backup or EPS circuit, but it can also capture any other generation on the site. So for instance, you might have an existing solar inverter from yesterday, or yesteryear these days, and you want it to also be used to charge this battery system. So with a meter, which is placed upstream of everything, just basically after the main switch, this meter communicates the energy flow between the grid and the installation. And it can make decisions, well, I should say it being the inverter can make decisions on what to do. For instance, if it sees energy being exported, it might say, well, we will charge our battery now instead of exporting it. If it sees energy being imported based on maybe a time of use setting or some other smart feature, it might say, well, let's use our battery energy instead of importing from the grid. That's why you need a meter to get maximum self-consumption out of a system. Otherwise, it can only really see the loads on the EPS circuit without this. So here's the inverter. Quite a sturdy unit, and in very big letters on the front, it says internal Wi-LAN or Wi-Fi integrated, no external dongle required. Now that is why in the accessories kit, there is a tiny antenna, no doubt will attach here somewhere, because there's internal Wi-Fi. I really like this. Well, why? Personally, I find the little external dongles, which are often quite flimsy and delicate, are easily bumped and broken, and it's just another piece of componentry that's on the outside of a very solidly built unit. So having internal Wi-Fi, a big tick. Cool. Now, let's have a closer look at some of the ports on this unit. Okay, what do we got here? So we've got our PV array disconnect switch, and it's lockable in the off direction. That's important because in Australia, according to our PV array rules, ASNZS 5033, and New Zealand, of course, this needs to be lockable in the off position if it's an integrated and suitably rated DC isolator. So this inverter has passed all the testing, so the IEC test, and also in terms of Australia, it's going to be listed on the CEC approved list. So that's a big plus. Then we've got 1, 2, 3 MPPTs, so 3 MPPTs. Now that's great, particularly when you've got modern homes. Modern homes have so many facets on the roof, it's hard to actually get all of your array facing the same direction. So you can have 3 arrays at different numbers of panels facing different directions. That's a really big plus of 3 MPPTs. Here's a battery port for connecting a battery system, which you'll see in the installation video, which we'll link to up here soon. And now we've got our LAN, battery management system, meter, DRM, the antenna. There's a little antenna goes on here. I think it's got a blank for it. So antenna goes on here. And we've got our COM dongle. So it looks like there's another option for a COM dongle. Not sure what that is. And here are our connectors for our comms cables and our main dual function backup and grid connector as well. So that's all the ports on the bottom here. So looking at the unit front on, as you can see, it's got a screen. Now we'll see what that looks like when we do the installation video, but very solidly built for the feel of it, cast aluminium. Yep, and with a massive heatsink on the back. Yeah, so a nice big heatsink. And listen to the music it plays. So there's some coils here which have their own heat sinks, and then we've got our power electronics with the main heat sink. As a result of so much passive cooling, it doesn't actually require a fan. So it's a very quiet inverter. There's no fan whirling away. As long as it's installed as recommended with the right clearances so that ventilation passively can occur, this will work under a wide range of temperatures. But anyway, I think it's time to dive into the spec sheet and let's talk about some of the detailed features. So let's talk a bit more about this inverter. It's known as the Fox ESS H3-8.0-Smart inverter. So it's an 8 kilowatt hybrid inverter, and the Smart refers to the functionality that it has. It's three-phase, so it's great for those installations that have a three-phase supply. It's got integrated solar, grid, and battery for really flexible energy use. Now, with an 8 kilowatt nominal AC output, with up to 8.8 kilowatts of peak output, that means it can meet some of those big instantaneous loads. It supports high voltage LFP battery systems like we'll be installing the Fox LFP batteries later in another video linked up here. And they can be in the range of 100 to 800 volts. So really high voltage batteries give you maximum efficiency because of the minimal losses that you get in the cables because of the high voltage and lower current. Now, it can have a really high DC to AC ratio. That means it can have up to 18 kilowatts of PV array connected. So you might start off with a smaller system, just got 3 MPPTs. You might just use 2 of them. You maybe got 10 kilowatts, and you can add another 8 later on if you've got some room on your roof. Those 3 independent MPPT trackers are optimized for solar harvesting. They have really high efficiency. So an MPPT efficiency of 99.9%. Basically, it's just perfect. It's got a conversion efficiency from DC to AC of 97.2 max and 97.7 maximum and 97.2 for the European efficiency standard. Now, all those numbers are just shooting it out of the ballpark. It's so efficient that you hardly consider losses at all. Now, it's got some smart connectivity. Of course, it's got access to the Fox Cloud app, version 2.0 for remote monitoring. Great for the customer to see how their system's working. And it has a plethora of communication modes. It can be via wired Ethernet, by built-in Wi-Fi LAN, by Bluetooth, RS485, USB, and even an optional 4G connector. It's got integrated BMS. That means it can talk to a battery management system by CAN communication, and that means it will control that battery to be safe and to work to its maximum potential. The whole unit is IP65 rated, so it can be used indoors or outdoors, though it's always a good idea to put an inverter in a location that's not exposed to direct sunlight and batteries as well for maximum longevity. It's silent because it's got natural cooling. The noise is below 40 dB, really impressive. And comprehensive protection suite, including anti-islanding, overcurrent protection, over temperature protection, DC-AC surge, insulation failure detection, and arc fault interruption is an optional feature as well. So these are pretty impressive. The dimensions of this unit is 600 by 450 wide and high and 226 deep and 34 kilos. So it's really a very comfortable lift for 2 people or 1 strong person. It's expandable and smart ready. Now, what does smart ready mean? It means it's compatible with a range of energy management systems, including SG ready. So smart grid ready is a standard widely used in Europe for controlling devices. It's got DRM functionality and ripple control. And so in Australia, that would be integrated with something that provides flexible export control, such as the backstop program in Victoria, flexible exports in South Australia. So there you go, a pretty amazing product, and I'm really excited to install it this Friday. So check out the video when it comes out. Thanks. Check it.